Hi guys, we'll talk about the Hornets today. It's the 40th anniversary in October of 2024 because back in 84 in May, the Grasshopper was released with the little 380 motor, but you could switch it to a 540 motor. And then in October on the 9th of 84, then the Hornets came out with, which most of the parts are the same, just the Lexan body instead of the hard plastic body. And then they changed the rear suspension a little bit with oil shocks, and then they let it pivot side to side. So this one's an oldie. The wheels are all turning yellow on the inside. I've kind of sprayed a little bit of paint on them on the outside. First time I ran it, it was kind of a shelf queen. It broke the shock mounts in the back, a little bit brittle. The tires are probably original. You can see I had to super glue them, and they're not worn down too much, so I had to super glue them where they got the cracks and stuff, but they're still holding up okay. And then I 3D printed some new lower mounts, and that actually brings the shocks back a little more. And then it had snapped off the upper one, so I moved the shocks forward, and that's like more leverage, so it actually pushes in easier than when they're almost vertical. So I think it rides a little better. And then I don't like the slap of the sound these make when the front of the gearbox slaps and stuff when you give it the throttle. So I have little zip ties around those little springs in there just to give them more tension. It still lets it move, but it eliminates that slap. And they make that whatever fifth shock thing, and they make another bracket in there, but I just did it with some zip ties. The hole is already in there, so I ran the zip tie over the spring. And then the battery doors like to jump off. On my Grasshopper, I drilled a little hole up here and shot a screw into the tab. On this one, I drilled a hole back further. Have a long screw with a little piece of tubing on it, so if this lets go, it can't slide all the way back. Some guys put the servo horn right there. They take a screw out, put a servo horn that swivels over to kind of lock that. So little things you can do. This guy's an old one too. It's hand painted under the shell with a paintbrush. And then this one still had the extra servo mount in it when I got it for the mechanical speed controller. So I probably never saw an electronic speed controller until I got it. And yeah, it's got the old motor with the plastic cap on it. This one too, that's from the 80s. The newer motors actually have a metal cap on it. So yeah, these are all old 80s. And then a lot of people don't like this, but this was a collaboration between Reebok shoes in the UK and Jun Watanabe, a designer in Japan, and Tamiya. So only 240 kits went to the UK. One thing online said 250, but whatever, it wasn't much. So yeah, only a couple hundred went to the UK because of Reebok shoes. The rest were all sold in Japan. But over the years, they have made it around the world a little bit, but they're still meant to be the most rare Hornet. The Supreme version, I'm sure, sold a whole lot more. And this one was so unique because everything was changed color-wise. The springs were white, the gearbox and the chassis is purple. It came with the pink tires and white rims, and it also came with the black rims and the black tires, so you could do what you want. This one was missing the pink rear wheels, so I just did all black on it, brand new black wheels on it. So yeah, it's pretty unique. Not too many around. Even the steering has changed to pink. So yeah, pretty cool. And then for this year, it just got released, I guess. A couple guys on YouTube have the new EVO or the EVO Hornet, and it's the same tub, and then it uses the DT02 rear motor gearbox with independent suspension. I don't have a DT02, but basically it'd be like this vintage stadium blitzer where the motor and the gearbox are in the back, and then you have the independent suspension. So the new Hornet comes with oil shocks, and the guy said, or they showed, it comes with all metal ball bearings. And then Tamiya just made an adapter kit to fit the DTO2 gearbox into the original parts where that gearbox, the original gearbox, swivels. So it's all same tub that they use. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I saw a guy jumping it off road. Definitely lands better. You know, when it lands a little crooked, it straightens it out because it's got the independent plus the oil shock. So if I see one reasonable, I wouldn't mind picking it up because I do like Hornets and Grasshoppers and stuff like that. So we'll watch a little run video. I just did it today on a basketball court and a little bit in the grass with this old guy. I don't jump it too high because I know some parts are brittle. So, oh yeah, and on the EVO, they also have some reinforcement that goes on this tower. Sometimes the shock tower breaks off, and there are aftermarket fixes. I've seen the metal plate that goes under, and then you can redo it or just buy a whole new chassis. So a little bit hard in some areas to get Tamiya parts. They're not as widespread as like Traxxas and other ones. I don't know why. They've been in the business so long. They should just have it in all the online platforms around the world. They'd make a lot of money, I would think, but I don't know. I always have to order my parts through the hobby shop, and sometimes it takes a little while. So, okay, guys, thanks for watching, and happy RCing.